My guess is that we're past peak inflation, and that we will have a recession. I think it will be a relatively mild recession, sort of. But I'm just guessing here. This is total speculation. But I would guess it's a mild recession for, I don't know, 18 months or something like that. Would be my best.
This has never happened in the past, but Elon Musk has revealed what the Fed and world economies are hiding. But what is it? What's coming in the future, and how can one create a buffer zone against it? Elon Musk is known as the most candid person who will say everything bluntly. He will tell you what you should know no matter what everyone else is saying. Being the world's richest man today, he is at the top of the power and money pyramid and knows more about the economy than ordinary economists. Welcome back to this new episode of our channel, and let's listen to what Elon Musk has to say about the brutal recession. Let's get started. When Elon Musk was asked about what he thinks about the inevitability of a recession, that's what he said.
Joe Biden has just come out and said that a recession in America is not inevitable. How do you feel about the economy?
Well, I think a recession is inevitable at some point. As to whether there is a recession in the near term, I think that is more likely than not. It certainly isn't. It's not a certainty, but it appears more like.
Sometimes, people don't really say what they have in mind, but their words quite reveal their intentions. Elon Musk, even if he says that a recession is inevitable, is saying that everything is uncertain. He is given the impression that a recession might or might not come in the near future. However, since he cannot help telling the truth, he said that he thinks the probability of a recession is more than the possibility of no recession. You really have to dissect this statement and find out the meaning. However, let's make it clear to you, he is clearly saying that a recession is coming. There is no way the market, companies, and individuals can prevent it from coming. However, there are specific methods to reduce the impacts. But isn't the inflation coming down? Won't it lessen the chances of recession? Well, it appears that's not the case. Here's a little reminder to like the video if you are loving it. And if you don't want to miss videos about the evolving economics and the financial order, subscribe to our channel. Let's continue now. Now, listen to what Elon Musk says about that first.
The inflation question is interesting because we do get a fair bit of insight into where prices of things are going over time. Because when you're making millions of cars, you have to purchase commodities many months in advance of when they're needed. So you need to tell, because it's a very long supply chain with a tremendous amount of inertia. So we sort of have some insight into where prices are headed over time. And the interesting thing that we're seeing now is that most of our commodities, most of the things that go into a Tesla, not all, but I don't know, more than half, the prices are trending down in 6 months, 6 months from now. Now this could change, obviously, but the trend is down, which suggests that we are past peak inflation. Now, making macroeconomic prognostications is a recipe for disaster, but my guess is that we're past peak inflation, and that we will have a recession. I think it will be a relatively mild recession, sort of. But I'm just guessing here. This is total speculation. But I would guess it's a mild recession for, I don't know, 18 months or something like that. Would be my best guess right now.
Elon Musk knows more about the real inflation situation than anyone else. Obviously, that does not mean he manages his home's kitchen, but runs the world's largest electric vehicle manufacturing company. Tesla produces millions of units of EVs, which are sold worldwide, and to produce them, Elon Musk has to have every raw material in the inventory. Tesla cannot start producing vehicles when it has raw materials for the next day. Rather, every company ensures that it has raw materials for over 1 month. In the case of Tesla, it needs metal frames, wheels, batteries, chips, other electronic devices, paints, power, and much more. Since Elon Musk buys these things, he knows how inflation is doing. He said over the last few months, he is seeing inflation coming down after getting insights from the Tesla bills. He said that commodities are needed many months before they are used, and the trends suggest the prices will decrease. In the end, he said that the world had passed the peak of inflation. However, the possibility of a recession is still here. Elon Musk said he is guessing the recession will stay for over 18 months. But why will it linger for so long? Well, the answer lies in the fact that there can be two types of recessions, one that is brutal but lasts no longer, and the second is the one that is less brutal, more like slow poisoning and lasts long. We will see the second type of recession, where companies and markets will have to face slow poisoning. Instead of being given a hard blow to bring things back to normal, the worst things will prevail. Companies will stop growing, earnings and profits will fall, and investors will not have any returns. Imagining such an atmosphere that will last for over 1.5 years brings suffocation. Many economists say the recession will bring a market crash, much like in 2008. But does Elon Musk think the same? Well, listen to what he said about that.
We don't have fundamental capital misallocations in the U.S. as we have had in the past, like in leading up to 2008, where we were building primary housing units at twice the rate of household formation, which obviously doesn't make sense. And there were a lot of companies that were over-levered. The leverage or debt that companies have right now is relatively low. So, yeah, I would say probably mild, moderate recession, maybe 18 months-ish. And I think inflation is going to drop rapidly. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Do you think we're headed into like a big recession?
I don't think we're headed into a big recession. I'd say like maybe a mild recession, but it could be a mild recession that lasts for a couple of years, something like that, But the thing that's hard to predict are like if there's like a war between China and Taiwan or something like that, that would send the world into a recession. That's a possibility. If there's some like big event, and there is a challenge in China right now with
That shit's scary. The Taiwan-China.
The Taiwan-China stuff is worrying.
It's kind of scary.
There is, independent of that, there is there's kind of a looming bust in the property market in China, where they've overbuilt apartments and buildings in general. There's just too many primary housing units in China, which seems crazy because a lot of people in China, but that's a correction that's.
The market crash of 2008 was mainly due to the mortgage problem, where the U.S. constructed houses at double prices. People bought them but could not repay the mortgage, disturbing the whole financial system. As Elon Musk said, this was mainly due to the misallocation of resources that is not visible today. Before 2008, companies were provided loans that they could not pay back. Elon Musk said that the situation is quite different now, and the debts are not as much as they were in 2008. This makes it obvious that Elon Musk thinks there won't be any market crash, there won't be any big recession, but a mild one. But that does not completely eliminate the possibility of a market crash or a hardcore recession. A market crash will be inevitable if things change globally, like a war between China and Taiwan or any conflict that affects companies. Then, by that time, we will be talking about the possibility of crashes, not recessions. Stakes will be much higher, impacting everything literally. But what should you do against the coming recession? That's something worth knowing from Elon Musk, because he has made his fortune just using the same strategy. Listen to what he is saying about that.
Well, predicting macroeconomics is always difficult, and one should assign probabilities to these things. But ironically, I did last year. People asked me what I think about the economy. I said, well, I think we might enter a recession in approximately spring of 2022.
Called it. Nailed it.
So Now the thing is that recessions are not necessarily a bad thing. I've now been through a few of them, and what tends to happen is if you have a boom that goes on for too long, you get misallocation of capital. It starts raining money on fools, basically. It's like any dumb thing gets money, and I'm sure you've seen a few of those. So at some point it gets just out of control, and you just have a misallocation of human capital, where people are doing things that are silly and not useful to their fellow human beings. And then those companies, there needs to be sort of an economic enema, if you will, to have everyone sort of shift uncomfortably in their seats. Eventually the economic enema does its job. It clears out the pipes, if you will.
Yes.
and sort of the bullshit companies go bankrupt, and the ones that are doing useful products are prosperous. But there's certainly a lesson here that if one is making useful product and has a company that makes sense, make sure you're not running things too close to the edge from a capital standpoint. That you've got some capital reserves to last through.
Elon Musk clearly said that recessions are healthy for the economy because they teach banks and economies not to provide loans to flop companies totally. Useless companies fail, but banks provide them with loans which result in recessions ultimately. However, recession teaches everyone that only healthy and value-producing companies should be trusted and helped. The companies that are producing nothing but getting a lot of traction will not stay in the market. Rather, companies producing products that help humanity and solve problems are actually worth investing in. Hence, investors should choose companies engaged in manufacturing value-driven products. That's how the recession will be totally harmless for some investors. But mostly, investors who don't invest like that will lose perhaps everything they have today. Do you agree with Elon Musk that we will see a recession that can linger for over 18 months? What will happen if Elon Musk proves to be true? Comment your opinions in the comment section right below. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos on the latest economics and financial news. Until the next video, stay tuned.